Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of Survivor Season 43, episode number 5. All right, there's a lot that took place in this episode, so let's just get right into it. We'll start off with a little bit of a refresher from last week. Remember, night number 9, Tribal Council. Coco, the Blue Tribe, finally made it to Tribal. They're the last tribe that had to send someone home. It's a good chance to check out who had loyalties, who had alliances, who didn't. As it turns out, on night number 9 at the Tribal Council, Lindsay went home after really sabotaging her own game. She got a little too paranoid. She expressed some distrust of people within her alliance that she should have been trusting. As a result, they ended up flipping on her. Lindsay went home. The tribe is now down to 5 castaways. But more than that, we saw a little bit of a division, some cracks formed. Gio voted to send out Cassidy. Now, Cassidy and the rest probably were going to, and we'll find this out a little bit later to confirmation, they were really gunning for Gio until Lindsay just started getting so paranoid and did herself in. So certainly Gio versus Cassidy, we see some lines being drawn between those two. We're going to see if that plays out this evening's episode or not. So with that being said, let's talk about the episode itself, what happened. Well, as is typical, we start off the episode with the aftermath of the Tribal Council Coco coming back to their beach, middle of the night, and we see immediately almost Cassie talking to the cameras, saying, the original plan was going to be for me and Carla and James and Lindsay to get out Gio. That was the target, and it all just changed because Lindsay just didn't seem like she was a trustworthy enough individual, so they flipped on her. They sent her out the door. But Cassidy is saying, I feel like I'm pretty tight with those, well, not other 3 now that Lindsay's gone, but I feel like I'm tight with Carla and James. Just have to find out who cast that vote against me, who was trying to get me out the door. She assumes that it was either Ryan or Gio that cast that vote against her, but she wants to find out. And eventually we get Gio fessing up, saying, yeah, look, it was me. I'm the one who voted against you. I'm not trying to hide it at all. It is what it is. He ends up telling her while they're walking on the beach, not in front of the rest of the tribe, just Gio talking to Lindsay and saying, look, Ryan is the one who came up with the idea just to put one vote against you because you were giving information to her. And I assume he's talking about Lindsay. He said, you were giving information to her. And so we just, Ryan came with this idea, put one vote against you just in case anything was going on. And everyone else was going to vote out Lindsay. We knew she was going to be gone, knew it wasn't going to be you. It was just to protect us just in case something was going on. And Lindsay says, oh, okay. I'm not sure she's really buying it. I'm not sure I'm buying it either. But because Gio wanted Cassidy gone. It wasn't any just protect yourself in case. But that's what he's telling Lindsay. Cassidy thinks at this point that she's talking to the cameras again. She's saying, look, Ryan and Gio, they think they're running this tribe. They think they're in charge. They can just do whatever they want. She says, really, they're on the bottom. I'm coming for them. They don't even know it yet, but they aren't on top. They're on the bottom. It's just a matter of time. And she's kind of right. Gio and Ryan definitely think they are in control of this tribe, and they definitely probably are not. So Cassidy's, again, there's this division between Cassidy and Gio. Now, Cassidy immediately after having this conversation with Gio, she's back talking to Carla, filling Carla in on everything that happened. She's reiterating the fact that they're so certain they're running this tribe, being Ryan and Gio. She said, look, they're idiots. They don't have any clue that they're on the bottom at this point. She's right, but you got to be careful. You don't ever get too cocky. And we start calling other people on the tribe idiots because you don't think they know how to play the game, that may be getting a little too cocky. So we'll see if that comes back to bite her and or Carla. All right, meanwhile, we see them trying to smooth over some wounds and everything. Meanwhile, we've got over at the Yellow Tribe, the Baka tribe, we see Ellie and Janine, the 2 women left on this particular tribe. They're looking for an immunity idol, trying not to let everyone else know that they're looking for it, but they're definitely looking for an idol, an advantage, anything that can help them out. And of course, as we tend to see in these episodes, immediately Janine finds the immunity idol. Now, I'm sure it's hours and hours that we didn't see on the edit, but on the edit, Janine finds not an idol, the beware advantage clue hidden in the crook of a tree, covered in ants. You never think about insects out there. You watch Naked Freddy, the other show, they're just getting eaten alive by the insects. You don't see that so much on Survivor. There got to be mosquitoes and ants and all kinds of nasties out there, right? Yeah, I would think so. But anyway, she does find this aware advantage. She's told Ellie about it, saying, I don't know, should I go get it? Should I open it? Should I leave it alone? And Ellie really kind of convinces her to do it. Says, look, if it's a bad situation, if it's something bad, we should be okay anyway. We've got the votes to get out Gabler. Everyone wants Gabler out on this tribe. He by far is who needs to go. So go ahead and open it up. Even if you lost a vote or something, no big deal. Don't worry about it. And they continue on a little bit. I think it's Ellie that talks about that she and Janine and Sammy are a very tight group of three, that Owen is with them as well, that he thinks he's part of them, maybe not so much, but at least from a voting standpoint, he'll be with them as well. So she's feeling very comfortable that it doesn't really matter what the beware part of it is. They just want the advantage. So they decide to open it back up. But of course, keep this in mind. Gabler has an immunity idol that's good through their next tribal council. The problem from Janine and Ellie's standpoint is they think that Gabler thinks that immunity has expired, is no longer any good, so he won't bother playing it. Now, that's not the case. Gabler's on to him. He knows that's what they're trying to convince him of. So he was playing along last week saying, yeah, it's no good anymore. It was nice, but I ended up not needing it. Well, no, he knows that he's got immunity if he absolutely needs it. So this assumption that they're making that they don't have to worry about votes because Gabler's an easy target the next tribal council. Not so much. He's going to play that. He's going to play the immunity of the next tribal council. He has to, because it goes away after that. So they got to be a little careful. But anyway, the indecision, they have decided, Janine has decided to go ahead and open up the advantage. And it turns out that Janine has found yet another immunity idol bracelet, just like the other two tribes had found. It's an advantage that requires you to be gifted a certain bead from every one of your other tribe mates. You string them together and it becomes an immunity idol, an immunity bracelet. If you can't do it, then you lose your vote at the next tribal council, which is always a dangerous situation. Now, we saw last week, Carla seemed to have it pretty easy in terms of getting an idol put together, just by talking about wanting to make a bracelet and all that. Janine's going to try the same thing. But remember that Gabler is upset at Janine and Ellie already, because he knows by way of Owen and Sammy that they went through his bag to find the clue and read more about this immunity idol he owns. So he may not be as willing to give up these beads, but they're taking the chance that that's going to be the case. And so that's the plan going forward. Now, Janine told Ellie, but she's not planning to tell anyone else. And in fact, Ellie says, look, let's not tell anyone else. Let's certainly not tell Owen that we found this idol until we find out if we can get the bracelets and all of that. And just as they say that, he walks up on them, and they've been caught. He's giving them that kind of look like, in fact, I think it's kind of as though, sorry, guys. He knows he's walked in on something. They're aware that he's caught them. So they fess up at that point and say, look, here's the deal. We found the advantage. We certainly would like your help to get the beads. And Owen is immediately saying, well, yeah, sure. Now, the thing is, does Owen flip on them? Does he join Gabler and Sammy? All he has to do with this information is say, they're not sure. Go over to the two of them, tell them that now Janine has lost her vote as long as they don't give the bracelet pieces to her. She's a walking target, right? She's an easy target if he wants to do that. But for now, Owen has decided that he really wants to work with the ladies, that he's going to try to use this as a token of trust. So he tells them, says, look, I'm good with you. I'll give you my bracelet piece. I'll help you do whatever I can to get the idol bracelet. So it certainly does seem like he's in tight somewhat with Janine and Ellie. But we just heard them say that they don't really necessarily think that Owen's as close with them as he thinks he may be. We'll see. Maybe this makes a difference or not. But anyway, they've agreed with that. And almost immediately afterwards, we then see Ellie coming up to Sammy on the beach saying, look, it's really not my story to tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Yeah, she wants to make sure she's the first one to give Sammy the news that Janine found this advantage, that she's got to get the bracelets put together. So she's very much feeling like this is a group she wants to work with. So at this point in time, everyone in this tribe, except for Gabler, knows about the advantage and knows that she's trying to build the bracelet. Sammy said, "Oh, congratulations, that's fantastic." But he then tells the camera saying, "Well, that's not really so good because I really was trying to work against the two of them in secret without them knowing. But now if they've got that, it kind of screws up that plan." So he's not nearly as happy inside as he expresses to Ellie when she gives him the news. So now, I guess I said the entire team, tribe knows except for Gabler. And Janine turns on the magic. She's back at camp saying, "Look, I want to build this bracelet, but I'd really like it to have a part of each one of us. It'd be so much more important. Can I maybe get some beads from each of y'all?" And everyone, including Gabler, says, "Yeah, sure, no problem whatsoever. Sure, we'll give you some beads." The problem is Gabler goes over and hands her a couple of beads, and it's not the one that she needs. And at that point, she says, "Oh, could I get that one over there instead?" And he says, "Nah, I was going to use that for my daughter. I'm going to make something for her, and that's a unique bead. I wanted to hold on to it." And I thought that was it. It's done. They're not going to be able to get the bead from her. Janine loses her vote at the next tribal. She puts her and Ellie in a world of hurt. Now Gabler at the last minute softens up. She says, "Well, can I give you these beads back and maybe exchange it for that one? Because I really think that's cool." And he gives in. So a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Janine, just like the other two tribes, has been able to convince everyone else in the tribe to give her the beads for the bracelet. Janine now has an immunity idol, which lasts probably till the last, 6 or 7 people. Don't remember what's said in the clue. Gabler has an immunity idol. It's only good for one more tribal council, but both of them could be protected at the next tribal council. All right, now, before we go any further, while they're all sitting around the beach around the campfire talking about these beads and everything, I noticed something about Gabler. He didn't have a shirt on. Gabler's got a lot of tattoos on his upper arms and his chest area. He certainly does that. But I also noticed on his left chest, on his left side of his chest, right over his heart, is a big old tattoo of the Alamo. Yeah, remember the Alamo. Woo! Yeah, I like to see that tattoo. I'm going to meet Gabler at some point in the future, I'm sure. I want to ask him the story behind that, the Alamo tattoo. But good job, Gabler. All right, moving on to actual strategic talk and everything else. She's convinced him to switch the beach. She now has the idol itself. And almost immediately after that, Sammy, trying to work both sides, Ellie's the one who told him, but now Sammy is telling Gabler, saying, "Hey, you don't understand, but us giving those beads to Janine, we just helped her build an immunity idol." And Gabler's not quite recognizing. He says, "Oh, you mean she's trying to use that for a fake immunity idol?" Sammy said, "No, it's real. She found the Beware advantage, and she used it to make her immunity idol." Now, if I'm Gabler, I'm a bit upset with Sammy that he didn't tell me this before I gave her the beads and helped her build that idol. That would really chap my tail just a little bit. And he seems a little perturbed, but Sammy also is recognizing that, and he jumps right in and says, "Look, I just didn't have time to tell you before they started doing it. They told me right beforehand. I didn't want to blow up that we were working together, so I just couldn't say anything. And it just is what it is." Now, my thinking is, as bad as it is, if they need to, if it turns into the 4 guys versus the 2 ladies, they can go after Ellie instead. It's not the end of the world if Ellie's got the immunity idol. But Gabler does point out, says, "Look, if they know they're threatened, maybe she gives that immunity idol to Ellie instead. We don't know where it's going to end up." Valid point, but I still think if it comes down to it, she's not going to give it to Ellie. So I think they could still go after Ellie. But yeah, I'd be a little perturbed that I only found that out after I gave my beads up, after it was too late. But we'll see how they do. I'm still very curious with this tribe to see how these alliances actually work out when push comes to shove. All right, with that being said, it's time for the reward challenge. And as we find out, it's not just reward this week, it's also immunity. Yeah, this week, because there's so much going on, we're only having one competition for reward and immunity combined. It's another obstacle course. We've been seeing a lot of obstacle courses this particular season. This is an obstacle course 4 tribe members. So we're gonna have a couple of people sitting out, but 4 tribe members tied together. They have to make their way through a big square that's filled with all kinds of sticks. You have to climb over, in between, through, etc. And of course, they're tied together, which makes it a little tougher. But they have to make it through the obstacle of sticks, grab a bucket, fill it up with water. Then the whole group has to walk over a kind of net type teeter totter. So you have to be careful with the water. Pour it into a bigger bucket. Do that. As it turns out, you only have to really do it 2 times. Go back, fill up more water. By the second time filling up the bigger bucket, it's enough to drop open a gate, which you cross over once you get to the gate. Then the tribe members have to roll balls up a ramp. At the top of the ramp's a flat area. They have to roll 3 balls and land 3 balls in the upper part of the ramp. The first tribe to do that wins reward. Reward is a giant-sized tarp, which, as Jeff points out, it can keep out the rain. It can also keep out the sunshine, both important for these tribe mates. Second place team also gets a tarp, a smaller tarp, but still a tarp. But more importantly, the top 2 teams are not going to tribal council. Third place team going to tribal. So there you have it. So we, as far as sitting out, we have Carla sitting out for the Coco team and Gabler sitting out for the Baka team. And no one's sitting out for Vesey since they only have 4 tribe mates still at this point in time. Take off for the obstacle course. Vesey takes the early lead, but Coco, the blue team, is really catches back up through the water part of it. They're the first ones to actually start pouring the water. They're the first ones to drop the gate, followed behind by Vesey. Baka just not always doing so well. They're not far behind, but they're certainly behind the other 2. Now, the hardest part of this particular challenge really turns out not to be the obstacle course. Turns out to be rolling these balls up the ramp. I gotta say, rolling balls down a ramp type something, I feel like I'd do okay with this one as well, but it's a little different than challenges I've done in the past. This actually is involving rolling up a ramp onto this flat surface, and it's hard. It's difficult, but soon we have each of the 3 tribes has each landed 1 ball, so it's all even up at this point in time. But in the end, the winner of this particular challenge is Vesey. Yeah, Vesey didn't start off so strong, but these last couple of weeks, they've been winning a lot of competitions. They're looking pretty good. As a result, we saw almost nothing from Vesey this week. Cody and everyone else over there, Jesse, we didn't see anything because there was just wasn't a lot going on with the Vesey tribe. They're feeling pretty confident and comfortable right now, which makes me wonder because they only have 4 tribes mates. The other 2 are bigger tribes. As long as Vesey stays at 4, I think maybe it extends out that much further before we see a merge and everything else. We got a little teaser at the end of tonight's episode. Some kind of merger or swap may be happening. Maybe not. We don't know. But Vesey has won yet again. But more importantly, who has come in second place? Well, it's obviously between, at this point in time, the blue team, the yellow team. Ryan is rolling the balls. They've got 2 balls landed. They only need 1 more to go. Ryan rolls the ball up the ramp. Worst possible thing could happen. Not just that your ball doesn't stay up on the flat area. It knocked the other 2 balls off. So they have to start all over again. Puts them way behind the yellow team as a result of it, way behind Vesey, or between Baka. I take that back. And as it turns out, that's kind of the death knell for these guys because Baka, the yellow team, lands the ball right after that. Baka comes in second place. Coco, the tribe who hadn't even been to council before last week's episode, went to tribal for the first time. Now they're going to tribal again. 2 episodes in a row that they're going to tribal. Who's in trouble with this team? Well, Gio and Ryan are on the bottom, apparently, according to Cassie, and it seems like that very well could be the place. Who would have thought that at the beginning of last week's episode? It didn't seem to be the case, but they've worked their way down to the kind of the bottom. And as a result, Gio and Ryan are on the bottom. They wouldn't send home Ryan, right? I mean, he's such a beast in terms of competitions and all of that. He's manhandled some of these big, heavy crates they've had past episodes. I would think that Ryan would be safe. So Gio in trouble? It could be, but we got a lot of game to play. A lot of this at this point depends on where James votes. I think at this point in time, I think Cassidy and Carla would certainly be more than happy to get out either Gio or Ryan. If James wants to go with Ryan and Gio against the ladies, there may be a move there. If he stays with the ladies, then yeah, I think Gio and Ryan are in trouble probably Gio more so than Ryan. So we're gonna find out what happens now that we know they're going to tribal council. But before that happens, Vesey, as we've seen in some of the other episodes, Vesey has an opportunity that everyone's going on a trip. One person from each tribe's going on a trip. Vesey is the winning tribe, has to pick one person from each of the other two tribes and someone from within their own tribe to go hang out on an island and do whatever may happen. Well, we know it's going to be the decision on whether or not you want to risk your vote. They end up selecting Janine from the Baka tribe. Janine, who just got an immunity idol, she's going to go to the island. Jesse from their own tribe is going to go as well. And from the Coco tribe, who we know is going to tribal council, Gio's going, which could make for a much more interesting tribal council. If he risks his vote and he wins it, who knows what that could do to tribal council. If he risks his vote and loses it, it could put him in even a more precarious position. The fact that he's going and other people in a tribe know that there's a possibility he could win some kind of advantage, protection, etc., that could change the dynamics as well of who votes for who. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that that Gio's going to actually go get maybe a chance at salvation before tribal council. So we're expecting to see them going out to the island, deciding who risks their votes. Now we got one little extra detail to talk about. And this is coming from Ryan. Remember, Ryan rolled the ball up the ramp. Not only did he not land the ball, but he knocked the other two balls off and really cratered any chances that Coco had to win this thing, or at least come in second. And now we learn that Ryan didn't just screw up on the challenge. He did it on purpose. He threw this challenge in order to get out Cassidy because he is ready to get her out the door. Really? Now, first of all, I can understand that you may pick on a person, not pick on, you may target a person. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It didn't work last week. They wanted Cassidy gone. As it turns out, Lindsay went. But I didn't notice enough animosity between Cassidy and other people on this beach that would make me think that Ryan would be to the point of wanting to throw comps in order to get her out the door. But that's exactly what he's done. He is so comfortable about his position, so ready to have Cassidy out the door, that he's willing to reduce the Coco team's tribe strength in order to make it happen. I think this is a huge mistake. I said earlier, I don't think if you get too cocky in this game, you're in trouble. Now, when I said that, I was talking about Carla and Cassidy. I didn't realize that Ryan was going to turn right around and prove that he is every bit as cocky as the two ladies are at this point in time. So Ryan has thrown the competition. He's ready to get Cassidy out the door. And to double down on his mistake, Ryan is now telling James to tell, I think, Cassidy that Ryan is a target, saying, hey, look, tell everyone that I'm the target because I messed up the challenge. I want them to all think it's me so they won't try to do anything sneaky, and then we'll flip it at the last minute. Ryan is way too comfortable about his position with Carla and James in this tribe. He thinks he's got them on board. He knows he's got Gio on board, so he thinks he's running things just as Carla and Cassidy had said was the case. They think they're running things, and they're proving it out here. So he's saying, yeah, tell everyone that I'm going on the block. It's kind of like on Big Brother terms. You don't volunteer to be a pawn. Ryan is very much kind of pooching himself at this point in time, as the new vernacular from season 24 came about. So Ryan's saying, yeah, tell them all that I'm going to be the person that they're sending home. Cassidy's in awe. Yeah, why would he be saying that? Well, it's because he thinks he's running everything so much. All right, so we do have a little discussion between James and Cassidy at this point in time about that, how they're going to handle that. Who would they vote out? They've decided Gio and Ryan, one of them has to go. Who do they want to send out? Cassidy really is probably wanting to send Ryan out the door. James is pretty much settled on Gio. We'll have more discussions on that in just a second. So meanwhile, let's go back to the island visit with Gio and Janine and Jesse. They end up having to actually get a little dinghy boat, row to the island itself. And while they do that, Gio is trying to make the other two feel really sorry for him, saying, oh, I barely survived the last tribal council. I think I'm the biggest target. This time, I'm going to have to risk my vote. I can't do anything except risk my vote. Otherwise, I'm going home. Trying to get them to think, well, he's risking no matter what. So At best, our chances of winning an advantage are 1 and 2 because we know he's going to risk his vote. He wants everyone else to not risk theirs, so he guaranteed himself the advantage. But Janine is saying she's not so sure if she really trusts his little sob story, if he's as much danger as he says he is. Jesse's not sure what he's going to do. Well, as it turns out, we got 3 risk takers visiting this island because all 3 risked their vote. That's the first time it's happened this season. All 3 risking their vote, which means pure random draw. One of them's going to win whatever this advantage is. The other 2 are going to lose their votes at the next tribal council. So it's putting some people in some precarious positions. We'll find out who wins which as they are and who loses which as they get back to their base camp. So back at base camp, Jesse comes right out and says, look, I risked my vote. I'm not trying to hide it from y'all or anything. It's I risked my vote. He opens up his results in front of everyone so no one suspects anything other than what he's saying. And the note reveals that he lost, that he no longer has a vote at the next tribal council. I get it from a trust standpoint. That's fine. We'll see the first time that Vesey goes back to tribal council with them knowing that Jesse has no say in votes, if that makes him more of a target because of it. Certainly, he feels like he's got a tight alliance within this group, similar to some of the people on the Coco tribe. We'll see if that truly is the case somewhere down the road. But he's told everyone, they're all aware of it. They're feeling very unified because he shared the information as well. Janine comes back to her tribe, the Yellow tribe. She checks the results before she tells them, and she finds out that she too lost. She risked her vote and it didn't pay off. She's lost her vote. She then goes back to the tribe, doesn't tell anyone she already checked it. She opens it up in front of everyone so they can all see that she lost her vote. Now, I thought there's an interesting point here. Sammy to the cameras is questioning, saying, why did she risk her vote? She just got an immunity idol. She has protection through however long it lasts. Why would she go out of her way to now gain another advantage and take the chance with her vote? I think that's a very strong point, and it may come into play. Remember, Sammy's already said he's more than happy to work against the 2 women. And now that he knows that she won't have a vote, there may be even more incentive next time Baka goes to tribal council. So he's questioning that. The main takeaway from all this, though, is it means that Gio has won the advantage. He risked his vote, a 1 in 3 chance, but he's won his vote. But here's the thing. Well, we don't even know what the advantage is. But would Gio be willing to use it if he is so certain that Cassidy is going home? And he's every bit as certain as Ryan is that Cassidy's a target. So he's going to probably hold it in his pocket. But we'll find out what the actual advantage is. He tells everyone back at his base camp, Coco, says, yeah, it's too important. We're going to tribal. There's only 5 of us. My vote was too important. I couldn't risk it. So I didn't do it. I'm holding on to it. Nothing has changed with us. Well, we know that's not the case, and he can't keep it quiet. Remember, secrets are power. No one's holding on to secrets in this game so far this season, it seems like, because he almost immediately tells Carla that he risked it. He opens it up. Turns out that he won it, and the advantage he's gotten is the knowledge is power advantage. We've seen that for the past few seasons. Remember, this is the one you go to tribal council. You can ask one other person on your tribe if you choose to use this advantage. Ask one other person, do you have an idol or do you have an advantage? You can only ask one or the other. But if the person you ask has an idol or they have an advantage and you ask them that question, they have to tell you the truth. And if you're correct, or if they do, they have to give it to you. So it's a huge advantage. But when people find out about it, it loses a lot of its power, as we've seen in past seasons where people switched around, gave immunity idols to other people to hold on to so they could not lie, but tell a different truth about what was going on. Well, Gio just got through telling Carla, and sure enough, now Carla's told James and Cassidy that Gio risked it, that Gio won it. At one point, Carla's saying, maybe I should work with Gio. He's got a pretty strong power here that could benefit us, but she's also realizing it could also be used against her if it came down to it. So they have decided, and I say they, James and Carla, and Cassidy, and who am I missing? Cassidy, Carla, James, and we'll figure out in a second. You know how it goes. They've decided that it's got to be Gio or Ryan that's going to go home. this particular week. The big discussion is whose it's going to be. James and Carla really want to vote out Gio, but Cassidy, yeah, there's only 5 left on the tribe. I had it right. Okay, so those three have decided that Gio and Ryan need to go home. James and Carla really want to vote out Gio, but Cassidy's worried about this power, if he could use it and have some control, and she feels a lot safer voting out Ryan, especially when Ryan's serving himself up on a platter, basically by trying to suggest to everyone to make him think that it's him anyway. So there is some discussion about how that's going to work. But after Cassidy leaves, we actually have James bringing up Lindsay to Carla and said, Lindsay got very paranoid last week. Cassidy's kind of doing the same thing now with her concerns about Gio and everything. Is it time to flip on Cassidy? Is that direction that we go? I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to flip on Cassidy at this point. But the thing is, I think it shows how tight maybe Carla and James are in that they really are controlling this tribe. They were kind of the middle two in this group of 6. And I feel like they're basically calling the shots at this point in time. Even more so if they go ahead and get rid of Gio and this extra power advantage that he has. So with all that being said, on the tribal council, Ryan is continuing to try to portray himself as the main target of the evening, talking about messing up the challenge. Carla at one point says that she's always happy with easy votes. Maybe Ryan is making this an easy vote. I think Probst suggests to them. Gio's kind of playing it dumb, saying, I just got back from the island. I don't know what really is going on. I just don't know. But Gio and Ryan are both so confident that Cassidy's going home this evening. You can see it on their faces. So they're confident. Carla's saying, look, you have to trust in your alliance. She's kind of directing that towards Gio with him saying he doesn't know what's going on. In reality, I think she's talking to Cassidy about trusting your alliance, but Gio doesn't get it. So on to the votes. Votes we have cast this week. 1 vote Cassidy, 2 votes Cassidy. It's coming from Ryan and James, right? Ryan and Gio. The next votes, Gio, and Gio. Yes, indeed. Gio, who was so confident about what was going to happen this week, that Cassidy was going home. Gio has been voted out by 3-2 count. Gio is walking out the door with his brand new power advantage sitting in his pocket to be displayed somewhere at home as a souvenir, because that's all the power it has at this point in time. Gio has gone home. This tribe is now down to 4 castmates. God, they started 6 just 2 episodes ago. Now they're down to 4. And again, it truly seems like James and Carla are running the show. Ryan's got to feel like he's on the outs right now. The look on Ryan and Gio's face when Gio got evicted, one of the classics. I haven't seen anyone that surprised at the way a tribal council vote goes in a long time, in a lot of seasons. They were shocked. I said it before. I'll say it one more time to finish this thing off. You can't ever get too cocky in Big Brother and Survivor and any of these shows. They got cocky. They paid the price for it. I think Ryan may pay the price as well. Not this week, but somewhere very, very close on down the road. So there you have it, guys. Lots of just one competition, but lots of strategy going on. We now have 2 tribes that are down to 4. Suddenly, Baka, the yellow tribe, is the strongest tribe with 5 people left. We get a little teaser. Looks like there could be a merge or something happening next week. I will find out then. But until then, guys, another fun episode to watch. We're starting to see the strategy come into play. We're starting to see the relationships tested, lines being drawn. That makes it so much more exciting. It was a fun episode. I'll be back again next Wednesday to give y'all an update on episode 6. Until then, cheers, my friend, SKD143, and go Astros. Cheers, guys. Bye.